The house I once called home had grown quiet over the years, not the peaceful kind, but the lonely, invisible kind. I'm Margaret, 68, a retired schoolteacher who spent her life raising a boy who now treated me like background noise. Ever since my husband passed, my son Darren had moved in with the excuse of taking care of me. But it didn't take long to realize he wasn't here for me. He was here for the house. Please subscribe to our channel and tell me in comments from where are you watching this video. Darren was 34, unemployed and entitled. He had dreams of being a digital entrepreneur, though from what I could tell, his business mostly involved shouting on gaming headsets and leaving pizza boxes in every room. Still, I loved him. I cooked. I cleaned. I kept my mouth shut even when he disrespected me, even when he told his girlfriend, "Don't mind the old woman, she just wanders around." He never introduced me properly. I was her, she, my roommate. Not once. Mom. Things got worse after he started hosting parties, loud, rowdy, reckless events where I was banished to the basement just for a few hours. The first time, I went quietly. The second time, he locked the door. I banged, I called his name, but he turned the music louder. I sat there in my basement, surrounded by boxes of Christmas decorations and my late husband's old tools, listening to strangers laugh and drink upstairs like it was their home, not mine. But the final straw came on a Friday night. He stormed into the living room after an argument with his girlfriend and yelled, "You know what would really give me peace and quiet? If you'd just stay in the basement like a normal old lady." Then he shoved me down the stairs, not violently, but carelessly. I stumbled, hit my knee, and sat there stunned. Before I could respond, he slammed the door behind me and locked it. I was trapped. No phone, no food, just me, a concrete floor, and the sinking realization that my son saw me as clutter. I cried that night, not just because of the physical pain, but the heartbreak of knowing the child I nurtured was now treating me like a burden. When he finally opened the door the next morning, yawning and hungover, he tossed me a granola bar and said, "You're lucky I remembered." That morning, something in me snapped, but not in anger, in clarity. He didn't know I still had the deed to the house. He didn't know I still had my old banker's number saved. And most importantly, he didn't know I was done being invisible. So while he passed out on the couch, snoring with an energy drink in one hand and his phone in the other, I walked into my bedroom, no longer his spare storage closet, and opened my old filing cabinet. Within 24 hours, I would no longer be just the old lady in the basement. But I wasn't ready to warn him. Not yet. Not until the ink was dry. I spent the weekend in complete silence, but this time it wasn't because I was locked in. It was because I was planning my freedom. On Monday morning, I took the bus downtown, clutching the folder that contained every important document Darren never bothered to ask about. The deed, my power of attorney, the will I'd rewritten a year ago, and the letter from the zoning commission confirming that our street had recently been rezoned for luxury redevelopment. That house Darren thought would be his forever? It had just doubled in value. I met with Eleanor, my old banker. She blinked when she saw me. "Margaret, you look different." "I'm selling my house," I said calmly, "and I need it done quietly." By Tuesday, the paperwork had begun. I didn't need to list it publicly. Eleanor put me in contact with a buyer immediately, an investor looking to buy properties on our block to build boutique townhomes. They offered cash, more than I expected. Enough to not just start over, but to do it with comfort, dignity, and distance from Darren. But I wasn't done yet. That night, Darren had another party. He didn't notice I was gone all day, didn't ask where I'd been. He just yelled downstairs, "Hey, could you not use the bathroom during the party? The girls don't like it when they see you shuffling around." I smiled from the top of the stairs, didn't say a word, and closed my door. That week, while he continued hosting gaming and sleeping all day, I packed away everything I wanted to keep, quietly. My wedding dress, my photos, the embroidered blanket my mother left me, the antique vase Darren once threatened to use as an ashtray. I moved it all into storage with the help of a discreet moving crew. He never noticed. On the morning of the final sale, I received a call. The funds had been transferred. The house was no longer mine. Please subscribe to our channel and tell me in comments from where are you watching this video. That night, I made Darren dinner, roast chicken, his favorite, sat across from him with a glass of water and asked, "Do you think you'd ever take care of me if I got sick?" He rolled his eyes and said, "Let's not pretend I'm going to be your retirement plan." I nodded. "You're right. You're not." The next morning, I left before sunrise. Left the keys in a box marked Memories. Left a letter taped to his video game controller. And I didn't even bother to close the front door behind me. He would wake up a squatter in a house that was no longer his. But I wasn't going far. I had one more stop to make, one more reveal that would rewrite everything Darren thought he knew about his quiet, homeless-looking mother. The sun rose behind me as I boarded the shuttle to my new apartment, a sleek, modern unit in a quiet retirement village on the lake's edge. It was far from the dusty, cramped basement Darren stuffed me in. Here, the air smelled of lavender and salt, and when the wind blew, it whispered peace instead of insult. But I hadn't vanished without leaving behind a symphony of consequences. By noon, Darren had woken up to an empty house, half his wardrobe missing because half of it was mine. The game controller where I taped my letter had the words printed in thick ink. "You wanted peace and quiet, so I sold the noise beneath your feet. You're not the landlord anymore. You're just the guest who overstayed his welcome." The doorbell rang just moments after he read it. The new owners were there, investors, polite, efficient, and merciless, with a copy of the legal sale in hand and a team of movers at their back. Darren, still in pajama pants and a stained hoodie, yelled something about his rights and this being his house. But when the cops arrived, called by the new owners, he realized something horrifying. The deed was in my name. Always had been. They gave him until sundown to pack. That afternoon, my phone rang. It was Darren. I let it go to voicemail. The message? A chaotic blend of cursing, pleading, and an emotional collapse. "Mom, I didn't mean all that stuff. Can we talk? Please. Where are you? I'm sorry. Okay? I didn't know you were serious about selling." I didn't answer. But what I did do was schedule a delivery. One of the perks of my new place? The concierge could arrange almost anything. I sent a package to his temporary motel room the next day, a cheap one he could barely afford after being kicked out. Inside the box was a framed photo of us from his graduation day, back when he still looked at me like I mattered. Underneath it, a receipt for the full funeral fund he spent on his trips, now reduced to a line item in the past, and beneath that was a wedding invitation. But not his. Mine. He hadn't known, but I'd been quietly seeing someone from my volunteer work at the library. Gregory, a retired school principal with kind eyes and a calm voice. He had watched the way Darren treated me one evening when he picked me up from an event and told me, "You don't deserve that. You deserve to be cherished." We'd grown closer, patiently, quietly, and when I told him what Darren had done, he didn't hesitate. He got me a lawyer, a realtor, and a locksmith. Our wedding? It was scheduled on the exact day Darren had planned his big return party at the house. Now, he wouldn't even have a place to party. And our honeymoon? I announced it on my Facebook with a picture of me and Gregory clinking glasses on a cruise ship balcony. The caption read, "I may have lost a son, but I gained peace, love, and a second chance." Funny how much fits into a suitcase when you finally let go of people who only saw you as furniture. The comment section exploded. Some applauded, some were shocked, but one comment stood out, from Darren's ex-fiancée. "Wish I'd seen this side of you sooner, Mrs. Hart. You're a queen. He always treated you like dirt." Darren never commented, never called again. And that was okay, because for the first time in my life, I wasn't crying in a basement. I was dancing on a balcony in Santorini, with my husband's arms around me. And the son who once locked me away? He would never again know where the key was hidden. Please subscribe to our channel and tell me in comments from where are you watching this video.